So, anybody ever seen Red Dawn? I had the craziest experience watching Red Dawn. I'm watching this film. It's a matter of perspective, right? North Koreans are invading the United States, and parachutes are landing, and they're taking over half the country, and it's crazy, and these poor high school kids are running up into the woods, and their dad taught them to use a shotgun or something, and they're now considered, guess what? They're considered terrorists. And they're considered insurgents, outlaws. And like, what a matter of perspective. I mean, it's just a matter of who's wearing what flag. You see what I'm saying? Perspective changes everything. Now, the thing of it is, in the Islamic tradition, the Prophet, peace be upon him, peacefully started a call to Islam in a city called Mecca at the age of 40. Invited people to this religion, started reciting the revelation that was coming to him. Some people accepted it, most people didn't. People got more and more offended as he continued to recite it. So there were attempts on his life. Then there were attempts on the lives of people who followed his faith. It got to the point where they couldn't live there anymore. So they had to actually secretly escape to another city, leaving behind their businesses, their homes, their families, in some cases. Some people were killed, tortured to death, while not fighting back. They make it to another city where they were welcomed. Most people did accept the faith there. A sort of conglomerate government was formed with the cooperation of Christian and Jewish communities. The Demon Society was formed. And then they started preparing for battle with the city they ran away from. Now, from a political science perspective, they have every right to fight the city that expelled them because what's there? Their homes. They were kicked out of their home for no reason. They were the ones aggressed against for no crime that they committed of their own except for believing. Nobody should be oppressed for what they believe, no matter what it is. Now this is a universal thing, it's not just an Islam thing. So they're in every right. If the United Nations was back then, they would be okay with it. They would be okay with it. Now this war starts, and it's going on, and it happens, there's several battles that take place, and eventually the Muslims win. And how do they win? They actually peacefully march into the city of Mecca with 100,000. They're overwhelmed by the numbers, and they walk in and they don't kill it, they actually pray. And everybody just drops their arms like, there's too many of these guys. And then the Prophet gathers all of the enemies, all the chief enemies that were in battle just a year before, 2 years before, they were out for blood. He gathers all of them and says, I will say to you what Joseph said to his brothers, there's no harm coming on you today. Then revelation comes. This is not the Prophet talking out, it's revelation comes. Revelation comes and says, these criminals that fought you all this time, give them 4 months. Give them 4 months to think about the faith. Take them to a place that's safe so they don't feel intimidated. If they decide that they want to be Muslims, fine. If not, they better not come back, and if they do, kill them wherever you find them. But they have how much? 4 months. 4 months. And in those 4 months, if you want to leave, go ahead, pack your bags and get out of here. If you want to accept Islam, if you come to that decision yourself, you know what? You're an equal citizen. And if not, we don't take prisoners. We're not taking prisoners. But until those 4 months, you are free to do what you want. This is the specific context of that declaration. It is not a universal Muslim foreign policy. It has actually nothing to do with what will happen after the prophetic tradition, because we believe that the punishments of God, like the flood of Noah, or earthquake or fire from the sky, or the town sinking into the ground, those kinds of punishments come from God. You know when they come? When a messenger is in the flesh with the people and he's rejected, then God's wrath comes. When a messenger is not there, those kinds of unique punishments don't come on a people where they're annihilated. It's only at the final rejection of a messenger. And by the way, let me add something else. When the flood water reaches up to here, in the case of Noah, right? The only thing about water is the nose now. Does God hit the pause button and say, you learned your lesson now? Let me take the water back down. You watch it this time. Does that happen? There's a fire rain from the sky, and right before it hits the guy on the top of the head, it stops. You want to joke about God's wrath now? You think it's funny now? Does it ever happen? Once it starts, you can't stop it. This is God's tradition in previous nations. This this is true of Islamic tradition, and the same stories that are mentioned in the Bible. This is what we believe. Now, in the Prophet's case, the punishment was not coming from the sky, or a rain, or flood, or a typhoon. It was the Muslim army that took over the city of Mecca. And God's tradition fulfilled. All criminals who fought against the messenger should be what? Killed. But the pause button is pressed until 4 months. The pause button was never pressed before. It's 4 months. Think about it. If you want to leave, move to Rome, go ahead. Move somewhere else, go ahead. Otherwise, you will face God's wrath, which has been coming from previous prophets too. And this is a messenger, and God does not forgive those who violate His messenger's causes. Those who have been ardent criminals. It's up to you. Then a guy came up to the Prophet and said, I don't know where you've been. I was in my house when you were preaching. I never came outside. I never even knew who you were until you just took over Mecca. What about me? So anyway, he says, what about me? I didn't do anything. I didn't fight you guys. You know? And Allah says, what about them? There's a specific verse came about the exceptional case. Listen, I was talking about battle, warring combatants, and I gave them those 4 months. If one of the other comes, what do? وَإِنْ أَحَدٌ مِّنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ اسْتَجَارَكَ فَأَجِرْهُ حَتَّى يَسْمَعَ كَلَامَ اللَّهِ ثُمَّ أَبْلِغْهُ مَأْمَنَهُ ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ قَوْمٌ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. If one of the idol worshippers comes to you saying, listen, I have no idea. I don't know what this other stuff is. Then فَأَجِرْهُ, leave him be and keep him safe. Ajirhu means two things. Leave him be and keep him safe. حَتَّى يَسْمَعَ كَلَامَ اللَّهِ, until he gets to hear God's word. ثُمَّ أَبْلِغْهُ مَأْمَنَهُ, then after he hears God's word, take him to a safe place. ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ قَوْمٌ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. That's because they were a people that didn't know. That's because they're people that didn't know. People that didn't know, you are responsible to protect them. Let them know what this is, because they didn't know. But you're also responsible to protect them. Context. Without context, you can pull anything out. Without context, I'm running around after my child, playing with her, and I would say, I'm going to get you. I'm a lion, I'm going to eat you. I say it all the time. Maybe you record. Mengapa Al-Quran told his children that he's going to eat them. We have a direct recording. I'm going to eat you. Did you say that, sir? Yes, I did. I actually did say that. And then they asked my child, were you scared? I was really scared. You know. Context, guys. Context. You know, it's so easy to manipulate a text. And the beauty of it is, when I see people manipulating the Quran as text, I find fulfillment of God's word in that. Because He says, يُضِلُّ بِهِ كَثِيرًا وَيَهْدِي بِهِ كَثِيرًا وَمَا يُضِلُّ بِهِ إِلَّا الْفَاسِقِينَ. He guides with this word many, and He lets other people be misguided with this word, many of them. And the only one who go into misguidance by using the word are people who are inherently corrupt. People that have corrupt intention will use it for misguidance, and when they do that, I say, oh, you told us, thanks. This is a heads up. So I'm not shocked by it. Like we were told.